This week, we're talking about a game that never was. Do you like video games? There was this guy named Matthew Smith, a legend of sorts. He's a computer programming wizard who made his name back in the 80s. He drew attention for making a video game called Manic Miner, and then another one called Jet Set Willy. They were computer games, kind of like Mario, Donkey Kong, and people loved them. I played Manic Miner to see what all the hype was about. And it's hard. You're underground in these caverns and you have to collect stuff without getting hurt and before you run out of oxygen. But here's the thing. Matthew Smith started working on a third installment in his video game series. It would be a trilogy of great side-scrolling action. The third game was called Megatree. But after several months and much anticipation, the project of Megatree was canceled. Smith eventually went off and joined a commune in the Netherlands, and no Megatree. But for years afterwards, fans hoped Megatree would see the light of day. People hoped for something. Even a demo to play. They just wanted something. But nothing. Just waiting. And in James, we're talking about waiting. Because life can be hard. There's oppression, there's affliction, there's persecution. People use and abuse others. Wicked people harm others. But James has been encouraging us to take hope. There is hope. We serve the Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts who will judge the wicked. And our responsibility is to be patient. Our responsibility is to wait for the Lord to return, and He will execute judgment. So wait for Him to return and set things right. James says that we're like farmers who have planted their seeds and now wait for the rain to come and so that our crops will grow. We're on God's timetable, so keep trusting God. Everything is in His hands. Don't complain against one another or grumble. Don't blame others for your troubles. Wait patiently. And James gives us two examples to learn from. First example, the prophets of the Old Testament. They suffered. According to Hebrews 11, they escaped the edge of the sword. They were tortured. The prophets were mocked and scourged. The prophets were stoned and sawn asunder, slain, afflicted and tormented. And they were proclaiming the very words of God. But God allowed them to suffer. And do you know what they did? They waited. They patiently suffered and trusted in the Lord, His timing, and when He would choose to act. That's example number one. And now here's the second example that James gives us. Verse 11. James 5:11. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. Example number two, Job. Remember Job from the Old Testament? That man from the land of Uz, whom God allowed to suffer at the hands of Satan. Now Job is a lot of things, but was he patient? You read Job and tell me what you think. Is he patient with those miserable comforters, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar? His initial response towards his calamity is acceptance, but then Job does an awful lot of protesting. Is Job patient? Well, it turns out not necessarily. It turns out patience isn't the quality of Job's that James is even pointing out here. Verse 10, when he used that first example of the prophets, they were patient. But James uses a different word here. And the sense he's conveying is endurance. Job undergoes tremendous testing, and he endures. He's loyal to God through it all. Job endured. He questioned God's justice. He wasn't necessarily patient, but he never gave up. He never cursed God, and if you know the end of the book of Job, there's a happy ending. The Lord is compassionate and merciful towards Job, just like the Lord is compassionate and merciful towards us. Not just compassionate, but very compassionate. He's sympathetic. He's merciful, which is exactly what we need in a world full of injustice. God says respond to that injustice by waiting. Be patient like a prophet and endure like Job. Because God doesn't want us to respond to injustice like the world does, with violence, with hatred, with arguing. No. God's word says to respond with patience and respond with endurance. And trust the Lord's good timing. He will show you the compassion and the mercy that you need. Hey, thanks for watching number 26 in this series. Like and subscribe, comment. Hey, tell me what your favorite video game is, and next time you're waiting for something, maybe waiting in line or waiting for your order at the restaurant, find someone else waiting and tell them about this video on waiting in the book of James. And I'll see you next time.